Flew to Japan to find the future of AI. I came back thinking about people. Just under 2 weeks ago, got on a plane to Japan. I went looking for the future of AI. I came back thinking about something completely different. And that's what this video is all about. If you've run a small business and you've been wondering whether you're asking the right questions about AI, stick with me. Because by the end of this video, I think you'll have a much better one. Earlier this month, I travelled to Japan to attend the JSAI 2026, the Japanese Society for Artificial Intelligence annual conference, their 40th year running. Held in Gunma, about 2 hours north of Tokyo. I got there by the Shinkansen bullet train. It's Japan's largest, or one of the largest AI conferences. Hundreds of researchers, engineers, professors, startups, exhibitors, thousands of conversations all focused on one question. Where is AI headed next? Walking into that conference felt surreal. I'm a builder from Norfolk. Most of my career has been spent on construction sites, managing projects, solving problems, working with trades. Yet there I was standing in one of the world's leading AI conferences with a badge around my neck that read ConstructionX AI, Jody Murfit. If you told me 5 years ago that would be happening, I'd have laughed. Truthfully, 6 months ago I nearly didn't even book the flight. Too busy, too expensive, too many reasons not to go. But I kept coming back to one thought. If this technology is really going to reshape industries over the next decade, I want to really understand it properly. Not through headlines, not through influencers, not through people selling courses. I wanted to hear directly from the people building it. So I booked a flight and off I went. Before I arrived, I thought I knew what would impress me. Robots, humanoids, advanced AI systems. Things that usually dominate the headlines, and to be fair, there was plenty of that. One of the most impressive exhibits belonged to GMO Internet Group. They had humanoid robots walking around the exhibition floor, picking up objects, following instructions, interacting with visitors, and watching them up close was incredible. Not because they looked futuristic, because they looked real. The movements, the precision, the engineering. For the first time I found myself thinking, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is happening right now. I also spent time with researchers demonstrating robotic assistance, machine learning projects, autonomous systems, the kind of technology that makes you realise just how quickly things are moving. And honestly, it was really impressive. But none of it ended up being the thing that stayed with me the most from the trip. The most important moment of the trip happened nowhere near the conference. Before I tell you that story, I need to explain something about Japan, because I think it really matters. Throughout the week I travelled Heikun and Gunma. I visited temples that have stood over 1,000 years. Walked through tiny alleyways packed with family-run restaurants. Rode bullet trains travelling at incredible speeds. Visited cutting-edge technology exhibitions. And what struck me was how comfortable Japan holds old and new together. One minute you're standing in front of a temple built over 1,000 years ago. The next you're looking at some of the most advanced technology on earth. Nobody sees a contradiction. They respect tradition, but they embrace progress. They care deeply about the craftsmanship. Whether that's a bowl of ramen, a wooden shrine, a robot, or a piece of software. There's real pride in doing things properly. No shortcuts. No rushing. No obsession of appearing clever. Just true craftsmanship. At the time, I didn't realise how important that observation would become, because it was about to explain the most powerful lesson of the trip. A few days later, I found myself in Tokyo. Someone had recommended a place called Dawn, the Avatar Robot Cafe, run by a company called Ori Lab. I'd heard it was interesting. I wasn't expecting to completely change my perspective. I walked inside. At first glance, it looked like a normal cafe. Tables, chairs, customers chatting, coffee being served, soft lighting, friendly atmosphere. Then I noticed the staff, or rather the robots. Small white robots positioned throughout the cafe. Some serving drinks, some greeting customers, some holding conversations. I sat down at the bar. One of the robots turned towards me. We started talking. And that's when I discovered something remarkable. The robot wasn't AI. The robot wasn't autonomous. The robot was being controlled by a real person, a real human being, working remotely. The more I learned, the more fascinating it became. Many of the operators lived with disabilities. Some lived with chronic illnesses. Some had mobility challenges, and some were unable to commute to a traditional workplace. Without the robot, many of them simply wouldn't be able to do that job. The robot wasn't replacing a person. The robot was an enabling one. And suddenly everything clicked. For 20 minutes I sat there having genuine conversation. Not with a machine, with another person. We talked about Japan, the conference, our family, her dogs, my Loki, life back in Norfolk, and the conversation was really warm. Human. Really natural. The technology had disappeared. The connection had remained. And walking out of that cafe, I couldn't stop thinking about what I just experienced. Because it had challenged almost every narrative I hear about AI. Most conversations about AI start with the same question. What can this replace? What jobs can it remove? What costs can it reduce? What people can it make unnecessary? And after a week in Japan, I think that's totally the wrong question. Because everywhere I looked, I saw a different question being asked. What does this allow someone to do that they couldn't do before? It's a completely different way of thinking about everything. The robot in Dawn Cafe wasn't replacing a worker. It was enabling employment. Technology wasn't removing human connection. It was creating it. Technology wasn't taking opportunity away. It was giving an opportunity back. And once I'd seen it there, I started noticing the same pattern elsewhere. Even at the conference, there were exhibits designed to teach children how to think about AI. Not blindly trust it, not fear it, think about it, question it. Understanding its limitations, there was a clear focus on partnership, on collaboration, on augmenting human capability, not replacing it. And I found that incredibly refreshing. Now let's bring this back home, because most people watching this aren't running robotic companies. They're running construction businesses, trade businesses, professional services firms, small and medium-sized companies. So what does this actually mean to you? I think it means changing the question. Instead of asking what can AI replace, simply ask what can AI help my team do they couldn't do before. That's such a better conversation. A foreman could manage more projects because admin is automated. An office manager who spends less time chasing paperwork. A business owner who finally gets his evening back because repetitive tasks are handled automatically. A customer who gets a faster response because information is instantly available. Those are the opportunities that excite me. Not replacing people, empowering people, giving them back time, giving them back focus, giving them back capacity. And that's exactly how we approach things at ConstructionX AI. We don't start with the technology, we start with the people, the process, the bottleneck, the frustration. Then we look at where technology can help. Craft first, tech second. People always. And if I'm honest, there was another lesson in all of this. The biggest challenge wasn't understanding AI. It wasn't navigating Tokyo. It wasn't attending the conference. It was getting on the plane, stepping outside my comfort zone, doing something I'd never done before. Walking into rooms where I felt like the least qualified person there. But that's exactly why it mattered. The conference theme this year was a single Japanese character. Challenge. Take it on. And standing there in Japan, I realised something. The future doesn't belong to computer scientists. It doesn't belong to Silicon Valley. It doesn't belong to the people with the fanciest titles. Belongs to the people willing to stay curious, the people willing to learn, the people willing to adapt, and the people willing to take on the challenge. Whether you're a builder, a tradesperson, a business owner, or someone simply trying to keep up with a changing world, that opportunity is available to all of us. 2 weeks ago, or just under 2 weeks, I got on that plane excited to see what AI might replace. I came home thinking about what AI allows people to do that they couldn't do before. Different question, better question. If you take one thing away from this video, take that. What does this allow someone to do that they couldn't do before? Craft first, tech second. People always. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great weekend. Hope you see you in the next one. Bye.